Hey there, Spreads! In this video, we're going to take a look at some great places where you can find free art assets for use in your personal and professional projects. If you're an independent writer, designer, or just working on some cool documents for your homebrew game, finding art can sometimes be a bit of a problem. We all have these great ideas clawing at the inside of our skulls. We can write mechanics, we can use words to paint these incredible worlds, but for a lot of us, we can barely draw a stick figure. If we were writing pure fiction, this wouldn't really be a problem, honestly. But in the TTRPG industry, there is an expectation that your book will have at least some form of graphic design elements to it, to hold interest and set the tone for your game. And guess what? Art isn't cheap, and it shouldn't be. Artists are skilled professionals who charge a premium for their creations. When you pay for a piece of art, you're not just paying for ink or pixels, you're paying for the years of study and dedication to the craft that it took to get that piece of art to that point. But on the other hand, fully illustrating a TTRPG book with commission pieces can cost thousands of dollars. So what do you do? If you're an indie designer who's just getting started, or you're maybe looking to make a cool piece for your portfolio, but your art budget is a big, fat zero. Okay, come closer. What if I told you there's a way to get art for free? Okay, disclaimer up front, I'm going to do my best to only suggest ethical sources of art for your project. That means that most of this is going to be Creative Commons or come with a license that offers above board use for commercial and private use. I know there is a lot of buzz around AI or algorithmically generated art in the industry right now. And while I do think that it could become an amazing tool for creatives in the future, at the time of recording this video, most AI art is just not sourced in an ethical way. So while it is possible that this might change in the future, we're not going to talk about AI art today. And also, it should go without saying, but none of these sites are sponsored in any way, like obviously. Have you seen my channel? I'm just a wee Scottish YouTuber. I've got like less than 100 subscribers right now. I'm not getting sponsors, alright? Okay, with that being said, let's get you some free art. In this age of photorealistic satellite imagery and precision geometry, cartography has become a bit of a lost art. Over the centuries, skilled cartographers and artisans used to pour time and effort into their maps that were just as much works of art as they were a useful tool for getting to know the wider world. But nowadays, the TTRPG industry is kind of one of the few last places where you can find professional cartographers. And because of that, a good cartographer is rare and rightly expensive. It's because of this that you can't seem to throw a stone in the TTRPG sphere without hitting some newfangled piece of software that promises to specifically generate fast and easy fantasy maps for your home games. And don't get me wrong, I do love some of these tools and I've used them in the past myself. But the problem is that even they can be expensive and come with fees or subscriptions, and most of them come with some kind of restrictive license which stops you using any of your maps in any paid products or whatever that you might want to make. This is one of the reasons why I love KM Alexander. KM Alexander has a unique section on their website where you can find tons of curated collections of Creative Commons brush packs for making maps at home. But they're not just brushes. They're taken directly from real-world historical maps and cartographers' work, which are all within the Creative Commons. These brush packs are all available in the ABR format, which you can load into Photoshop and most other image editing software, and they even upload clear, transparent PNGs if you're not comfortable using brushes. You can toss these into your image editor of choice and quickly throw together these authentic-looking maps. And with even just a small bit of skill or learning how to use one of these imaging editing softwares, you can make some really outstanding maps. The website itself offers plenty of great little examples for how to use each of the brush packs, so you can get a really quick feel for how the assets might work for you in your own map. And best of all, in my opinion, each brush pack comes embedded into a blog post that explores a bit of the history and work of the cartographer in question, where the assets came from, which I just love. It lets you really take a moment to appreciate where these maps came from in this fading art of cartography. There's even some really unique styles that you'll just not find in your traditional fantasy map creation software. So I honestly recommend checking it out, even just for inspiration. It might really be what you need to make your next map really stand out. William Shakespeare wrote around 37 plays in his lifetime, and it'll surprise nobody who took an English class growing up that over the long years since his plays first hit the stage, all his comedies and tragedies have been illustrated and sold far and wide. And with the passing of time, lots of illustrations from these books, along with the plays themselves, have all entered the public domain. The Victorian Illustrated Shakespeare Archive is a website run by Michael John Goodman, who collected, scanned, cleaned up, and uploaded over 3,000 images taken from the illustrated collections of Shakespeare's various plays. They're all tagged and just waiting to be found. Detailed depictions of props, loving renditions of characters from key scenes, beautiful landscapes are all just a click away. I'll admit this one is a little bit more niche, maybe. But if you're writing something that has a distinctly Victorian or medieval style, these images could be just what you're looking for. Shakespeare also has plenty of mythical and fantastical creatures in his plays, so you might even find something that suits a fantasy game. They might even be useful if you're writing some kind of modern or urban fantasy and you just want to add some cool historic imagery in the background, or to props or page dressing. And of course, since everything in there is in the public domain, you can use, edit, photo bash, do whatever you need to make them fit your game. So check it out if you want to get creative with some classic art. Unsplash is a website where photographers from around the world can upload high-resolution photographs for free use in personal and creative projects. At the time of making this video, there are over 3 million photographs in their archives, which I can tell you it's a lot. It's very easy to search through, and some people even curate collections of similar images. So sometimes you can get really lucky and find these wee treasure troves just packed full of images that might work for your game. Now, since Unsplash is mostly real-world photography, it's really great for modern games, but it's not just limited to that. Try tossing in some keywords and you might be surprised what you can find. Here I just threw in noir and it popped up with tons of really great images that might work perfect for some grimy, gritty detective game. And of course there's tons of photographs of castles, forests, mountains, and even some fantastical or surrealist imagery. And if you've got some skill with photo manipulation, Unsplash might be able to do everything you need, honestly. But there are 2 things to be aware of when using Unsplash. First of all, the images are not actually in Creative Commons, they're instead licensed under Unsplash's specific license. Now, at the time of recording, their license is incredibly liberal. It lets you download, edit, use images for personal commercial projects with or without credit, which makes it a great resource and a good license. So you should have no problem using images from them. But if there is one thing we've learned this year, it's that licenses owned by corporations can change over time.
Why are we still here? Just to suffer?
So just be sure to double check their license page before using anything in your commercial projects, especially if you are watching this video in the future. How's it going there, by the way? Have AIs taken over all our jobs yet? Are you watching this on your mandatory break from the ice mines, leave a comment and let me know. And second thing to bear in mind when using Unsplash art is if a photograph includes some form of iconography or intellectual property from another brand, you don't have the rights to use that brand in commercial projects. So if, for example, someone uploads a really cool picture of a McDonald's, you could still get into trouble if you use that image in your book, because the good old golden arches are still property of McDonald's IP. But if you're careful to avoid those two pitfalls, Unsplash can be an absolutely fantastic resource. And there we have it. 3 great websites that give you access to tons of free art. Hopefully you can find something to help you in your next project. If you know any cool resources for quality art, ideally in Creative Commons, post them down below in the comments. And why not subscribe while you're down there? And let's all grow together. That still feels cringe. Is that still cringe to say? It feels cringe to say. Anyway, until next time, take care, Sprouts. You good? I'm surprised there's not been any more cats screaming. Are you good? Okay, she's left the room. It's all good. Start recording. Did I hit start recording or start streaming last time? I hope I hit start recording, otherwise that was a whole take wasted. And as we all know, we do things in one take here because I am a very busy dryad.